Hey shitheads, it's TJ and Dyna Death Milberg, and this is a breaking news Tactical Shit Shots Fired podcast today on September 14th because, as if it was a gift from God, a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a machine gun. In where?
Illinois.
In Illinois.
Not just Illinois, Cook County.
Cook County, which is
Chicago.
Chi-Town. Chirac. The place where we send all of our the Special Forces send all their medics to Chicago hospitals?
Yeah. It's like Chicago, New York, and LA is where they'll send them to is where you're going to get the most realistic combat-like trauma, which is gunshots.
Right. Because on an average weekend in Chicago, there's 60 to 80 shootings.
Yeah.
And the Popo in Chicago solve how many of those? 1 in 20?
Yeah, it's only like 1 in 20. I mean, it's like out of 374 people killed so far as of the 10th of this month. 340, no suspects charged.
But imagine this. Chicago, the land of no guns, right? Because it's got the strictest gun laws in America. The Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, one of those liberal whack job fucking things, they actually gave Chicago a B+ on laws, on their gun laws for preventing gun violence. Yet, what every liberal anti-gunner's worst fear, a good guy with a gun stopping a bad guy with a gun, just happened last night in Chicago, nonetheless. And it wasn't just your average good guy with a gun stopping bad guy with a gun story.
No, not even close.
So here's what happened, folks. According to the Cicero Police Department, and where's Cicero at, Alex?
It's like southwest of the main hub of Chicago. Everybody thinks of like Magnificent Mile, Michigan Avenue, that area. Looks to be just a few miles southwest of that. So it's still in Chicago.
So it's in downtown Chicago, but it's a suburb.
In an area you typically wouldn't go to if you were visiting.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what you have here is you have a situation where about 5 p.m. last night, Cicero police tried to stop a car, and the car didn't want to stop. Can you imagine that?
Weird.
So what happens is they get into a small chase near the 3900 block of South Cicero Avenue, and the guy takes off running, and they get him boxed in at the entrance ramp to I-55, which is the border of Chicago downtown and the suburb of Cicero. So bad guy jumps out of his boxed-in car and starts shooting. Not just any kind of gun, though. He brought the chopper.
How is that possible, considering full autos are illegal in Chicago?
Well, full autos, Alex, are illegal everywhere unless you have, unless you actually can own one. I mean, they're not illegal. You can own one if you have $25,000 and a clean record and whatever.
He didn't have that. But I mean, there's gun laws against it.
But in Chicago, I mean, a fully automatic weapon. He jumps out of his car with the chopper and he starts spraying, and he hits one of these cops 3 times. Got him in the leg, got him in the abdomen. I'm not sure where the other shot hit, but hit one cop 3 times with a burst of full auto. Fired at a couple other cops that were chasing him, and then you've got what we call an RGO on this show, a responsible gun owner. RGO sitting in his car, Chicago fucking traffic. He's probably pretty pissed off. It's 5 o'clock. He's sitting there and he sees a firefight erupt on the off ramp. Full auto fire. Cops are being suppressed. Cops are going down. What does this RGO do? He jumps out of his car, draws his legal CCW because he's an Illinois FOID holder, jumps out with his CCW gun, fires a shot, and reportedly comes into contact with bad guy. Bad guy is critically wounded and goes down. Now, there is no 100% determination yet as to whether or not it was one of the cop shots that took the bad guy down or the RGO with the CCW. But the newspapers, the WGN, the Chicago Tribune, the Cicero Police Superintendent Jerry Shalda, and they're all praising this guy, saying that it was his shot that took him down. Now, we'll find out later from autopsy, but I'd say there's probably a better chance than average that he did it.
I would say so. And if we can theorize for a moment what's going through this guy's head. If you really think about it, you do not want to live in Illinois if you're a gun owner. So, wild fantasy moment here. What if you think about it, what was going through that dude's head? Like, I have stayed in this shithole city. I have abided by these stupid gun laws and this stupid FOID card. Sees this happen, and he's like, motherfucker, this is it.
This is my moment.
This is the whole reason I've stayed in this goddamn city. Is because if this was going to get my chance anywhere,
stateside kill,
this would be it. It's happening.
And how could you hold still enough to get the shot, you know?
It's like the night before Christmas. It's awesome.
A local firearms instructor in Chicago calling the CCW shooter our guy. He says our guy, from what I read, wasn't being shot at, and therefore under Chicago or Illinois laws, he should not have gotten involved. You know, it's one of those things where if you're licensed to carry and you are being threatened, you know, you can use your firearm. But in Illinois, it's you know, you're not supposed to defend others. But in this case, you know, they're not trying to burn this guy down. They're putting him up on their shoulders, and the police chief, everybody are saying that this guy is an absolute hero. They want to applaud him, a civilian who risked his life and took the shot to help apprehending an armed suspect who had just shot Cicero police officers. And that's just amazing. When I heard this story, I got goosebumps. I was like, my God, it's happening, you know. Probably just an inkling of how he felt that moment before he got out of his car.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But, you know, what makes this so unusual? Well, the fact that it happened in Chicago, A. The fact that it was a legal CCW holder, because in 2013, Chicago was the last city and the last state to legalize CCW, to basically unban it, right? To adhere to the Constitution and the Second Amendment. And so, you know, it's only 2018. So people have only been legally carrying guns in Chicago for 5 years.
And, I mean, honestly, not even a whole 5 years, because if I remember correctly, it is almost a year, sometimes more than a year process to actually get your CCW. And if you're starting from scratch, you're looking at a few months to get your FOID card and take care of all that. And then I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is a couple month to a year process to take the course, process everything, and get your CCW approved. So in most cases, you're probably honestly looking at maybe 3 to 4 years at best of actually being able to have the gun on you and carry.
Well, I'll tell you what, shitheads. If you guys know who this dude is, or if you are the dude, if you are that guy, the Chicago stud that took the shot, that stopped the guy with the machine gun shooting the cops, we want to talk to you. If you know him, let him know. Tactical Shit wants to talk. We don't have to do it on the air. We don't have to do it all recording, but we want to talk to you. If nothing else, we just want to shake your fucking hand, bro.
Yeah.
It's pretty goddamn awesome. And we'd like to hear firsthand how it all went down. If you're a police officer that was involved in this, give us a call. You know, DM us. Let us know. How exactly did this go down? Because we can't believe everything the newspaper says.
Of course.
You know, they are saying it was a machine gun, but it could have been a fucking pellet gun, and they called it a machine gun because the news does that. You know, everything's a fucking machine gun, yeah. But they're saying it was full auto, and so we're going to take them at their word for now. And, you know, you're right. I'm holding in my hands the Illinois gun laws, and, you know, you have to have a FOID card not only to own a gun, but to own a stun gun or a taser.
Yeah. Wow.
You have to have a permit to have a fucking taser.
You have to have a FOID card to buy ammunition.
You know, it's funny, in a state that charges you to be able to live your life, that they're always broke.
Yeah, it's ironic. I mean,
socialism works, right?
So well, apparently.
This story is just unbelievable. But what it does tell you is that there are good guys with guns in Chicago, and the more good guys with guns we can get in Chicago, the more stories we can get like this going. The more heroes we can raise up, and the more bad guys we can put in fucking boxes.
Yeah, I mean, it's asinine. You hear, what was it, a few weekends ago, they had Wildpalooza in the park down there in Chicago. And in that one weekend, it was something like 80 shootings, not deaths. I don't remember what the
No, that's a normal weekend, 60 to 80 every fucking weekend.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, that's just completely out of control. Now, granted, it's not like St. Louis is that much better crime-wise, but I mean, this is just ridiculous. And I mean, just some stats they had. This interesting website name, HeyJackass.com. According to them, and I don't know how accurate this is because it didn't say.
We are not in any way affiliated with HeyJackass.com.
Cool name though.
It is.
shooting every 2 hours and 50 minutes in Chicago, and someone is murdered every 15 hours.
That reminds me of an old commercial at the horse races around here. Every 19 minutes, the place goes crazy. You know, you can do that same jingle in Chicago. Like every 2 hours, somebody gets fucking smoke checked.
I mean, you go see a movie, there's a chance there is a shooting or two while you're watching your movie. That's pretty lame.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shootings.
No, I'll tell you what, Chicago is probably one of the most dangerous cities on earth. Probably equal to as dangerous as St. Louis, the city that we are from. It's just way fucking bigger, right? You know, yet we do probably keep up with them in crime. We don't have 60 to 80 shootings. We probably have 30 to 50, but we're what, a tenth of the size of the town?
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant size difference between, and that's where some of these numbers can be misleading is, you know, if you break it down per capita and then realize the difference between the two. Some of the cities that are claimed the most dangerous or top murders or whatever is per capita. If you look at a smaller city like St. Louis, it's probably worse purely for the fact that there's a shit ton of less fucking people than Chicago or New York.
Well, yeah, and not to get off on a tangent, but St. Louis is skewed numbers because St. Louis is an unusual situation where the city and the county are not the same entity. So when they're looking at St. Louis, they're looking at only the city, meaning only the urban zone. They're not looking at anything other than the downtown area. And so because that the violence per capita down there is way high because there's nobody fucking lives there.
Yeah.
Right? So the numbers on St. Louis are always skewed. But let's talk about these Chicago laws, right? In Chicago, there's like, what, 4,000 shootings a year? I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
4,000, 6,000, some ridiculous number.
This year, there's already been 2,100 people shot this year already.
Right, we're just past half a year.
Yeah, and that was September 10th. So, I mean, according to this math, add on another 50 or 60.
Right. And in, let's see, in Illinois, there's 265,000 people with their license to carry. 265,000, which is about 2%. So 2 out of 100 people in Illinois have a concealed carry license.
Why would you not be a criminal there? I mean, that means the chances of, if you look at the numbers of you actually getting busted for a shooting, 1 in 20, and the number of you running into somebody with a gun is just as small. Why would you not be a criminal?
Right. I mean, but like, you know, then you come down to St. Louis and everybody's fucking armed.
Yep.
You know, everybody's armed. They might not be legally armed, but everybody's fucking armed. I mean, you can pretty much carry a gun here in St. Louis if you're over 18 and you don't have a felony. Period.
Yeah, straight up. I almost got into it with somebody last night who literally went around me on my bike on the shoulder to pass me. And I thought about, we got stuck in traffic. I thought about walking up and saying something, and I actually stopped because I'm like, you know what? Every motherfucker is carrying a gun on the road right now. Yeah. That's all I need is somebody to see me walking up and just smoke checks me because everybody's got a gun.
Well, that happened to a guy on a motorcycle here in St. Charles County a couple years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. So you do rethink things knowing that probably everybody's got a gun.
Biker got cut off. Biker, basically cuts the guy off, gets out of his car, walks up to the window, catches a .357 in the chest. Old guy says, I was scared. There you go. You know, he didn't have to he stand his ground, right? So in Illinois, in Chicago, there's 74,000 concealed carry licenses. So this guy, 1 out of 74,000 in Chicago. I'll tell you what, the NRA right now is really trying to get more good guys with guns in cities.
Yeah.
And so this is proof that it works, right? If you put more good guys with guns on the ground, no matter what color they are, in the cities, you have more of a chance of stopping this armed criminal action of these pieces of shit that are running around shooting cops and doing whatever. In Illinois, you have to be 21 to have the valid firearms license. No convictions for physical violence in the last 5 years. You can't have more than 2 DUIs in the past 5 years or any outstanding arrest warrants. You must also undergo 16 hours of training, basically a whole weekend, and have hit 21 of 30 targets at close range. So that's a pretty thorough process. Now, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's my right. I shouldn't have to get training. And yeah, okay, that's the Constitution says that. I think that, yeah, we shouldn't be forced to take training, but we as responsible gun owners should go out and get training. I guarantee you this dude had training. he was former LEO, he was former military, or
Something.
he liked to go get training on the weekends. Because you don't jump out into the middle of a fucking machine gun cop firefight, take one shot and put the bad guy down without having a little confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's my first thoughts exactly too. Is that's either completely random, pure dumb luck, or this dude has done some shit and has a background. And what you were saying before, that's exactly right. Is a discussion of rights versus responsibility. I absolutely 100% agree that it is everybody's right, and I'm even a little more extreme. There's some cases where people with felonies, it's bullshit. They did something, made one dumb decision 25 years ago, and lose the rights to carry a firearm over it when it was something non-violent. Now, violent criminals, different story. But, somebody in 1968, when they were 18 years old, got busted with a big bag of weed in California, and they're losing their firearms rights for the rest of their life over that. That's bullshit. But when it comes down to it, I mean, you have your rights, but just because it's your right, then it's also your responsibility accepting that right to get training and know what the fuck you're doing. Otherwise, I mean, that's just irresponsible to carry a firearm and have no idea how to use it, never train with it, never practice with it. Then you're not only endangering yourself, but possibly endangering other people. And that's just pure ignorance. And in a time, especially now, and it's always been this way, when gun owners are constantly looked down upon and rights are always getting threatened and trying to come up with new ways, the last thing we need is someone who's not a responsible gun owner to do something stupid and ruin it for everybody. It's as simple as get some damn training. It's to the point where everybody and their cousin does it. It's not hard to find somebody with at least a decent, legit background to teach you something and take some sort of class. Just something.
Yeah, get the training. Train. It's fun.
Yeah.
That's what you bought the fucking guns for.
Yeah,
I know so many guys that bought guns and they never shoot them, or they go to the range once a year during the winter, just because that's the thing they've been doing their whole life.
Yeah.
Something else I found in this Illinois gun law shit that I printed out right before we started the podcast. It's pretty interesting. I'm trying to find it again in here, but basically it said that out-of-state residents, because we go into Illinois whenever we have to go shoot over in Sparta or whatever. Yep. It pretty much says that out-of-state residents are not prohibited from carrying in their vehicle as long as the gun doesn't come out of the vehicle.
Correct.
And they are legally allowed to carry a gun in the state they're coming from.
Yes.
So that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it used to be that I thought you had to take the bullets out, the gun had to be in a separate place, and the magazine had to be locked up. And, Illinois was fucked up. You could catch a felony just by accidentally driving across a bridge.
Yeah.
And the cops would intentionally pull over Missouri cars and all the horror stories you'd hear about that.
Oh yeah, no, it was bad, and that changed when they introduced the CCW laws. That's when that changed as well. That much like it's recognized in Missouri, your vehicle is an extension of your private property, so you're still able to carry there. Now, outside of that, a Missouri resident, your CCW does not.
My vehicle is an extension of my penis.
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
Well, I guess that is my private property.
Wait, if your vehicle is an extension of your private property, and your vehicle is registered in Illinois, does that mean if it's also an extension of your penis, do you have a small penis because it's from Illinois?
Mind blown. The cameraman fell asleep on that one. Hey, here's another thing that's kind of fucked up. Just because I'm holding these Illinois laws, do you know it's illegal to possess a laser sight accessory in Illinois? Or is this Chicago? Chicago.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it is unlawful for any person to carry, possess, display for sale, sell, or otherwise transfer any laser light accessory or a firearm silencer. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't apply to armed forces. Wow. Yeah. So it's a
no beam.
It's the same charge. Basically, having a laser dot on your pistol is the same as having an illegal suppressor in Chicago. I love it when we discover the really dumb ones. Like that.
I was not aware of that. That's
God forbid this guy had a laser on his fucking gun because they'll hang him. But and nobody needs a fucking laser anyway. Those are just toys.
They're fun for cats.
They're good for IR. If you're working at night and you got some NVGs and stuff. But
now that'd be an interesting one. Can you get busted for IR laser?
Prove I got it, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh man, so let's just give this shout out to the guy that fucking stopped the guy with the machine gun. Good guy with a gun stops bad guy with a machine gun.
That's some balls.
That
too.
is some balls. We want to also say we're sorry to the Chicago Police Department for their loss. 54-year-old female veteran police officer killed herself in her police car the day before this. So that's bringing up a lot of people are talking now about cop PTSD and stuff like that.
Especially in that fucking city.
Yeah, no doubt. The stuff they have to see and deal with.
Yeah.
The politics. So remember those. Remember these cops when you're saying your prayers at night. And then in other news, 7 New York City police officers, including 2 detectives that were also in the Internal Affairs Division, have been indicted and arrested on illegal gambling and prostitution charges, along with a roundup of 40 bad guys. So 7 cops and 40 bad guys went down in New York City, proving that all cops aren't good guys.
It just sounds like a good Friday night. Honestly, I don't see a problem there.
Right. Yeah, let's run a little gambling and prostitution.
Yeah, shit happens.
It's funny though that they busted. As an ex-cop, I think it's hysterical that 2 of the guys that got indicted were in internal affairs.
Yeah.
So these guys are higher than thou. Fucking, they want to put every other cop in prison and fucking make everybody's life suck. I was IA'd for fucking, what was it, like 3 or 4 months one time, and they tried to put me in jail. They tried to indict me, and it all went away. But I had to get the police officers union involved and everything else, and it was the same situation. The guys that were IAing me were dirtier than anybody in the fucking world, and they're trying to hang me.
Point the finger, you got 4 pointing back at you, man.
Exactly.
I've always wondered too, like, do you volunteer for that position? Like, you got to be a real dick to be a professional.
You got to
snitch.
suck the Chief's dick and be a complete douche nozzle.
Your entire job is to be a Blue Falcon.
Exactly.
Like, fuck that. That's as bad as being a military MP.
That's worse.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is the end of episode, I think, 13, Lucky 13, of Shots Fired, a.k.a. Shits Fired. Shit hit the fan in Chicago, and a fucking RGO put them down. Thanks to them, the police are still alive, and the bad guys, hopefully not for much longer. They said he's in serious condition. We'll keep you updated on our next podcast, though. Hopefully, we'll be talking in the next podcast to the girl in Seattle that smoke checked the guy. She was on the motorcycle, smoke checked the guy in the Red Ridge incident. We've been trying to get her on the air. We just haven't had our schedules, our schedules haven't jived. But anyway, we weren't planning on doing this podcast. We got work to do. It's Friday night. Somebody needs to go get drunk. I'll talk to y'all later.